Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs fall to the New York Islanders by a score of 6-3, and in a game that was a little bit ridiculous. Today has been a ridiculous day for Toronto Maple Leafs fans and for the Leafs in general. I mean, you think about Austin Matthews going down with an injury. You have Joseph Wall coming out tonight and looking pretty rough out there, but the team didn't look prepared. They didn't look ready to go, and ultimately, it was a pretty bad game, if we're being honest now. And there's a couple Saturdays in a row where they really haven't played their best. But that being said, got to give them a little bit of a break. They've been playing a ton of games. The month of December has been crazy. And of course, they're dealing with a lot of injuries at this point, Anthony Stolarz. And now Austin Matthews, which we can kind of discuss here a little bit. What's up, Blake, Edward, Jordan, Duster, Shane, Dan, David, Jay, everybody. What's up, Joshua, as well? No Darius tonight. He's out at a dinner, so shout out to him. But every time I stream without Darius, the Leafs lose, and this is no exception tonight. What's up, Marshall? But that being said, we'll make it a good vibe stream. And again, we have Monday, the big watch along stream, but it's it was a bad game, and we can start from the top. We can get into the stats, all the different things. It was the second night. What's up, Blake Gaming? It was the second night of a back-to-back here. Their third back-to-back in 3 weeks. Ton of different things are going on. The team is playing a ton of games. They're dealing with a ton of injuries. They should have been better prepared tonight. The Islanders aren't a great team. That being said, and we'll dive into the lines, we'll dive into some of the things. David Camp moved up, and it's we think about everything that happened in this game, and it was a wild day for Leafs fans. I want to start with the lines here. So you look at the lines during warm up, and it's Patches, Tavares, Nylander, Nyes, Camp, Marner, McMahon, Domi, Robertson, Lawrence, Dewar, Reeves. I mean, I'm curious to see what you guys in the chat think about these lines. Definitely interesting. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not even gonna say it didn't work a ton, because you think about offensively, they did fine. Really, they were really pressing towards the end. I thought if they could get one more goal to go in, Mitch Marner almost had one. Then you would have made it a 1-goal game, but too many easy goals let in by Joseph Wall. And obviously Darius isn't here. I'm a notable Joseph Wall. I'm super high on Anthony Stolarz. I still think Joseph Wall is a very good goalie. Again, not having Austin Matthews didn't help. The injury is probably taking, but I think the biggest thing was they looked slow out there. They looked they looked slow. They looked lackadaisical. They didn't look like a team that came prepared to play against a New York Islanders team who came very prepared to play. And you look at some of the box scores and you look at some of the stats now. I mean, you have Connor Dewar, Matthew Nyes and Mitch Marner, they played okay. But William Nylander was the star of the show today, even though no one had a phenomenal game. Robo was quietly pretty rough tonight. At least he's getting some hits around. But in a game where Nylander kind of took over, it's going to be interesting now to see how they play without Austin Matthews going forward, because the team looks slow tonight without Austin Matthews. I'm more inclined to blame it on the fact that they obviously are on the second night of a back-to-back. I think that's probably the bigger problem here. Not problem, but obviously the bigger thing at play at this point. But I mean, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, it was a rough game. I'm starting to think I'm bad luck watching when Willie scored and when McMahon. But yeah, Bobby McMahon as well got a goal. Can't win them all like Montreal. Yeah, I think again, it's an interesting point of the year. They now have one more game till Christmas break, where they're off for 3 nights, so you get a bit of a rest here. And Austin Matthews' injury is a major concern. It's kind of up in the air right now what is going to happen with him. Hopefully he plays against the Jets on Monday. We'll have a live watch along for that. There's a world where he's out for like a fair amount of time, but either way, the team needs to figure out how to play a little bit better than what they did on a couple hours ago here, because really, and I'll look for the game impact scorecard here, but again, William Nylander, Bobby McMahon, they were the only 2 guys who actually did much of anything out there. Other than that, I mean, it was a little bit rough. No one was great tonight. Marner really were okay, but overall the team didn't look great. They looked sloppy. I suppose the Islanders are a terrible third period team too. Yeah, and if they didn't give up, if Wall and the defense didn't give up those goals towards the end, I think the Leafs could have made an even stronger push. Again, not wanting to break up the third line, but after this game, Domi needs to move to C. Camp isn't cut for that role. I'd have Dewar. Yeah, and again, looking at the lines, I mean, that third line has been rocking, so I understand why Craig Berube stuck with it, at least for this game. But they're going to have to do something. I don't know if David Camp is necessarily the answer at the second line center. You, of course, have Connor Dewar there as the fourth line center. I mean, Ryan Reeves, almost had a goal on the breakaway. I didn't love the lines tonight at all. They weren't very good. And quite frankly, they were pretty bad. And offensively, I don't think the team looked good at all. They didn't look completely terrible. But you start to think about where this team was even just a few weeks ago when they were top 5 in the league in, goals against average and goals allowed and all these different things. And now they're scoring less and they're letting in more goals. And obviously the letting in more goals thing is a bit more of a concern. Anthony Stolarz being injured is the primary factor and the primary driver in that. But when you look at some of the other factors, I mean, the defense hasn't been quite as good. You have guys who just aren't playing their roles quite as well. And as you continue to build on that, it starts to become a bit of a concern here. But I'm going to look quickly for you guys for the game impact scorecard. But also, thank you guys. What's up, Jose? Thank you guys still for tuning in. Late Saturday night. Christmas is close. Leafs lost. But thank you guys. You guys, the best community on YouTube. Best community on YouTube. So thank you guys for that. Even in a loss without Darius, it's out to that. Didn't like the lines. Had to really put them in a blender. Yeah, I mean, it's intriguing. And I don't hate the lines. I usually agree with what Craig Berube does. I will say that. I usually agree with what he does. I think he's had a great season. And I think we can all agree in the chat as well. Like, type yes or no. Do you think Craig Berube has had a solid season thus far? And when I say that, I of course mean mainly making roster moves, the way that they have the team playing. Like, I think I can all agree he's been good. That being said, lines tonight were bad. We do have the game impact scorecard, so I will look to get that for you all. Shout out to the 40 or so in here. Hit the like button if you're enjoying. Again, it's an interesting game to cover because there wasn't too many positives tonight. And leave in the chat now who you think are the top 3 in the game impact scorecard. Let me know who you think the top 3 are. I will get it up for you all momentarily here. And I'm very curious. Yeah, I mean, I think we all love Craig Berube. He's been solid. Shout out to the 10 likes. Try to get 20 likes on this one. Christmas break will be much needed for the team. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, we have Collins set up for Monday. So if you are a member, you will get priority to the Collins. So shout out to all the members out there. There are a lot of them. They need to tighten up their play and get those defense locking down. Joseph Wall. Yeah, I mean, Joseph Wall hasn't had a good game didn't play well tonight by any means. Jim's girlfriend must have found out it wasn't his first donut. I say don't see him around. Shane, I was gonna say the same thing. Maybe he'll tune in. I mean, it was a brutal loss. The game also went by pretty quickly as well. Marner, Nylander, McMahon in that order. Nylander and McMahon. Okay. Interesting. I'm about to show you guys. Berube's been well. He's been very solid this year. No complaints. No complaints at all. And I like that he's at least willing to try new things. And that's the biggest thing. Sheldon Keefe, he would try something, it wouldn't go well, and then they would just bin it. But with Craig Berube, he still does bin things pretty quick if he doesn't find it's working. But at least he's a bit more open to some of the changes there. Marner, McMahon, Willie, didn't think anyone played great tonight, but those 3 were the best of the worst. You guys are going to be surprised, and I haven't seen it yet in the chat with who was number 2. See if anyone can guess it. Who's number 2 will surprise you. I'll go as far as to say that. Who is number 2 will definitely surprise you. And it's someone that you guys have mentioned in the chat, but isn't crazy at the moment. You guys aren't a huge fan of him. Nylander, McMahon, Johnny T. Nylander, McMahon, Marner. Okay. No one's guessed it yet. I'll give you a minute or 2 more, and if you don't guess it, then I'll just throw it up. And again, looking back at the box score, you look at some of a lot of negatives. Bobby McMahon was a -3 with a goal scored, which is kind of interesting. But again, Tavares had an okay game. Bobby McMahon had a pretty good game. William Nylander was by far the best player on the ice, visually at least, based on the eye test. Robo? Oh, I don't think so. It's not Robo. Robert, thank you so much for the 10. Robert, I really appreciate that. Thank you for the 10. I don't have the super chat animation on me, but Robert, thank you so much. Not making excuses, but the boys look tired. Islanders had 3 days off. Leafs play last night. We knew it was going to be busy in December. Christmas break will be a godsend. Completely agree, Robert. And I think that's the biggest thing. Thank you so much for the donation. I think ultimately, they have a game obviously on Monday against the Jets. And then after the Jets game Monday, they're off for 3 nights. And the Islanders are coming off of some rest. And I said yesterday, don't discount the Islanders. They have Ilya Sorokin, who had a pretty solid game tonight. Nick, you got it. Nick got it, which we'll dive into now. But Robert, thank you again for the 10. I'm not too concerned about this loss. I honestly don't get too concerned about any of the losses at this point, given the way they've been playing this season. that is what the intro says, Cameron. That is what the intro says. Yeah. Who was number 2? I missed part of the game. All right, let's dive into it. It is a forward. Nick got it though, so let's get it going. Number three, sorry. Oops. I guess you guys didn't really get number two either. So it's Nylander, Matthew Nyes, and David Kampf are the top three. So Bobby McMahon is actually, despite the goal, towards the bottom of the list. You also have Nick Robertson towards the bottom of the list. Nylander was clear, far and away the best player. And then you have Matthew Nyes and David Kampf. So, I mean, Kampf being, I can see Nyes, he had a pretty good game, especially defensively. Kampf being number three is interesting to me. I mean, maybe. I don't think he played bad by any means. I wouldn't say that he had a great game, though. I wouldn't say he had a great game. I think Morgan should be up there more. He had a solid game, and he was towards the middle. He's been towards the bottom for most of it. Yeah, no, and Nyes always plays with his heart in his sleeve, obviously. Yeah, Tracy, you got it. Kampf was, I accidentally said two. I meant three. All the same, though. They basically had the same impact. Nyes a bit better offensively, which, again, not that surprising for Nyes, but I think David Kampf, I mean, I wouldn't have guessed him. Marner being number five makes some sense. Ryan Reeves was for the top, but at the same time, Jake McCabe, man, oh man. I'm curious to ask you guys this. Did you guys think that just by watching the game and through the eye test that Jake McCabe had this bad of a game? Do you guys think he was by far the worst player on the ice tonight? He had an assist and he was a -2, but clearly the advanced analytics, I don't think he played a good defensive game by any means, and that's what's ripping him in the advanced analytics chart. But they have him like far and away, which is I think one of the worst games of the season. He looked really bad out there to me. I didn't know it was this bad. He's had a couple shaky games now. I think he's had a couple shaky games now. When the fourth line is rather high on the list, it was a rough game. Yeah, I mean, Lawrence, Reeves, and Dewar all fairly high up, which I think it's more of a testament of how bad the game was. McCabe was awful tonight. Yeah, I mean, he was not good whatsoever. Second night of a back-to-back, he logs heavy minutes. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think it's a huge. I thought Ryan Reeves' goal would have been phenomenal. I would have absolutely. I would have loved it. Leafs now need help like big time. Do you guys think they need to upgrade like sooner than later, or do you think they can afford waiting until the deadline? I think they got McCabe playing off his side. A lot of things are messing up at the moment, and ultimately, it's intriguing to me how they're going to manage these lines specifically, because ultimately it's going to be a mess with Austin Matthews out, and not a mess in the sense of the team's going to play horrible. I still think they're going to be fine, but when you look at what they're left with now, because they're actually a lot more healthy than they were when Austin Matthews was down the first time, and you kind of were forced into a bunch of different guys. Now you're almost at a point where it's like you have so many healthy players. It's going to be interesting. Put McCabe back with Tanev. They did rock. Yeah, they went into Riley Timmins, OEL, Tanev, Benoit, and McCabe. And Benoit and McCabe were not good tonight at all. And you can look at Benoit here. Bear with me with the animations. I know it's not the usual quality, but Benoit was at the bottom. Look at the bottom two. The bottom two were Benoit and McCabe. Split that pairing back up. Split it back up. I mean, I don't think they complement each other well either. And maybe that's just me. I just don't think, not only do they not complement each other well, it just doesn't work. You have Benoit, who is a huge body, throws his body around. Yeah, McCabe is kind of similar in certain ways. I much preferred Riley OEL on the top pairing, which again they didn't rock tonight. They rocked Timmins and Riley, and they've obviously been rocking Benoit and Timmins a lot as well here. And Hakanpää's going to come back at some point. Tanev played fine as well. Didn't like Wall. Yeah, I mean, if Wall was on here, he'd probably be towards the bottom as well. 848 save percentage. A couple of the goals were tough ones. There were also a couple that I feel Anthony Stolarz would have had, but they also got bailed out yesterday by 2 disallowed goals. Under normal circumstances yesterday, they probably would have given up 5 or 6 goals, which you can't really say that because they were penalties, goal interference, and all these things. But I mean, I don't know. The defense needs I don't think it's just the goaltending is a bit shaky, and the worry now, if Joseph Woll doesn't play well, then the team is in rough shape. Because you think about how important it is for how good their goaltending has been. The offense has been fairly lackluster compared to previous years. But if their goaltending doesn't get play to, I mean, they were playing top 5 in goals against average save percentage. If they aren't getting back there or not even getting close to that, and you're without Austin Matthews, sorry, your offense is, and then slowing down a little bit. Then even if your offense slows down a tiny bit, you're going to struggle to win games. And that's why it's always been a little bit of a concern here is, of course, the kind of everything. But I think the team is good. I think a lot of this was just they were tired. They were fatigued. I mean, you have a ton of different moving pieces. Austin Matthews getting out with an injury. They play the best team in the NHL on Monday, far and away. At least, you can make some arguments. There's some other good teams, obviously the Wild and things like that. But they play the Jets. They play the Jets on Monday. And if they don't have Nick Robertson, it's going to be interesting. I think Riley and Tanev is their best bet line, one righty and a lefty, and Marner helping them on D as he's played on lots of London nights. Yeah. Give Murray some more starts. I don't think Murray played that much better yesterday than Joseph Woll did tonight. Have a good night, Joshua. I don't think Merry Christmas as well, Joshua. It's both defense and goaltending. I agree. The defense and goaltending was great to start the year, and it's still solid. They're 21-11-2. The base where there hasn't upgraded. They're in a very good spot. Now they're second in the Atlantic at the moment. They're in a very fine spot, especially if Austin Matthews' injury isn't severe. However, it is a little bit of a concern. Winnipeg Jets Monday, you get a bit of a break, so it's interesting. Everyone better be back here Monday at 2. Let's watch the game with Nick and Darius and call. Yeah, Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Live watch along. We'll be live throughout the entire game watching it with you guys with Collins. Going to be generational with some other stuff in there as well. And again, you look at the impact score chart. Yeah, Murray wasn't great. He only gave up 3 goals, but he gave up 5 technically, if you include either goals that didn't count, which is unfair because they were penalties. But it's not like he was lights out or anything, which is the biggest thing. He wasn't lights out. So it is becomes an intriguing view now on the goaltending. Back-to-back pretty rough starts by both goalies. You obviously wish Anthony Stolarz back. And Anthony Stolarz not coming back for a while. I got you, Blake. I will. We'll have the Christmas lights in full effect. And ultimately, it's going to be an interesting next game against the Jets. You can see at the bottom, 23-10-1. And they might have improved. I think the Jets are going to win tonight. So 24-10-1. Hildeby had a few good games too when he started. I think Hildeby has looked shaky as well. I think they just prefer the higher floor of a guy like Matt Murray as opposed to Dennis Hildeby, who could be up and down, shaky, kind of, in the middle at times. Let's say Matthews is out for 10 games. We need to go even or positive to keep our division position. I think 6-4 if he's out for 10 games. I think he's been dealing with an injury the whole time. I think that's what's been happening. Clearly, we know it got re-aggravated, confirmed by the cross-check to the back in yesterday's game, which we were there's a little bit wall of time of confidence. What's up, Eric? Hope you're doing well. I don't think so, Blake. I think they're only send Matt Murray down for because he doesn't have to be sent down to the waivers. He has waiver exemption, so they're trying to maximize the amount of time. I think Dennis Hildeby won't start another game for the Leafs for a while. Even though he looked fine, and it went from really good goaltending to now a little bit of a concern. I still think Joseph Woll will be a fine 1A goalie. It's just a matter of if he's going to be good enough to justify, starting him every single night, which they don't really have a choice otherwise. And as you look at some of the stats here, it's like, an 848 save percentage. Did you guys think any of the shots were particularly hard to save, or would you say that he let in a few soft ones? They looked pretty soft to me. I'm open to different opinions, but it's I don't know. It's intriguing. I'm curious. Do you think? Yeah, I think Woll has confidence. He's just been struggling lately by saving a lot of the pucks. You look again the line. The defense looked horrible, so I can't even blame it fully on Joseph Woll at all. I don't blame it on Joseph Woll. Woll didn't play that great in Detroit either. Yeah, back-to-back rough ones for him. The back-to-back rough ones, which again, it's gonna happen. The defense was bad. They look pretty soft. I agree. That's how I feel as well. Ones I think Anthony Stolarz would save, and not to compare the two at all times, but also, they were, Nick. They were. I think the defense was the biggest problem there. I think the defense was the biggest problem. Please don't bring up that Axiomov. He had a rough start. He had a rough start in yesterday's game for the Marlies. A cross check last night is the same way Matthew got injured and was out for, and that is the reason that he was out again tonight. We're also 4 likes away from 20. If you guys are able to get us to 20 likes, that would be much appreciated. When Canfish top line center, it's bad. Yeah, they have some work to do. Brad Living has some work to do. Hopefully, yeah, true, Kylie. Get a center. I mean, do you guys, and I'll ask this before we do the 3 stars here. Do you guys think that Austin Matthews is going to be back Monday, or do you think he's going to be out a significant amount of time? Yeah, Blake, I saw that as well. He did get injured from the cross check or re-aggravated his injury. Like, I don't know. 2 goals. And yeah, I mean, the vibe right away was rough. You went down 2-0 against the Islanders. Scary. I don't know if they're going to put him on the LTIR, though, is the thing. Like, maybe. I'm hoping not. I hope he's back Monday. But knowing them, knowing the Leafs, it's going to be a while. This team, man. This team. Let's get into 3 stars of the night. It's been a great stream either way. The vibes are still fairly high. No Darius, obviously, tonight. Darius has been missing the losses. He's been missing the rough losses, and he's been there for all the wins. So maybe I'm the bad luck charm for solo streams. But let's go with your 3 stars. Make sure to type them in the chat. My 3rd star of the night tonight's going to go to Matthew Knies. I think he had a very solid game. He's still learning how to use his body, playing very well. Again, he put up an assist tonight, and it was a solid game from him. I still like the way he used his body. We're not lit. We'll see you Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, huge watch along stream with Collins. But and also again, we'll kind of go over the Collins before we do them on Monday. It is Nick. It literally is. I've because back-to-back Saturdays now. Darius has been rightfully so. You know, he's out having dinner. I'm glad he's having fun. But I've been bad luck. It's unfortunate. Hopefully we're good luck Monday. My 3rd star is going to go to Matthew Knies. My 2nd star is going to go to, of course, oh my God, Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner had a very solid game tonight. I almost just choked there. Mitch Marner had a very solid game. Again, no one really played great. I liked what I saw from Nylander. I liked what I saw from Marner. And obviously, Nylander's going to be my number 1 star of the night. So Marner 2, Nylander 1. So Nylander, Marner, and of course, Matthew Knies. I think that's the best I can do at this point. I mean, and no one really played well besides William Nylander. Bobby McMahon played decent too. He had a goal. I just don't think he played great defensively or offensively. I'm okay if Matthew does an extended stay in the LTIR. We're still a great team without him. He needs to be healthy by the playoffs. He's the key to the cup. Agreed. McMahon, Knies, Nylander. Yeah, I don't hate that either. Honorable mention to McMahon for me. No Jordan. Nope. Nylander did, for sure. I think Nylander had a great game. I think Nylander had a phenomenal game. I mean, like, given what happened, he was the only reason they were even in it. Alarm already set. And with that, again, 2 p.m., we're going to make a community post, and we'll also have, we'll mention in our videos as well. Robert Bet, thank you so much for the donation. Your bro must be happy Montreal won. Yes, the Jets won 5-0 over the Sabres. Wild loss again. Jets are very good. Thank you again, Mark. Robert, your support is unbelievable. What's up, Mark? Thank you again, Robert. Hopefully we'll see you on Monday. Yeah, my brother, I'm sure he is happy. The Montreal Canadiens have had a horrible year. And the Jets, they play, speaking of Robert's Jets, like Robert mentioned, the Jets are rolling. They won again tonight and on Monday. Yeah, 2 p.m. So in the afternoon, we will be live for a live watch along. We'll be watching the entire game. It obviously won't be on the stream, but we'll be commentating and watching along with you guys. It's the first time we're doing it. If it goes well, we will do it again. So if you like it, make sure you tune in. In between the intermissions, we will be having call-ins. So you guys are going to be able to call in from your phones, and your audio will be heard on the stream. Give your opinions. We'll have a back and forth, a quick brief back and forth. And then after that brief back and forth, we'll obviously move on to the next person. And we're excited for it. I think this is something that can be, especially the call-ins, because this will be a thing going on for the post games as well. We were excited to try the watch along, especially because, you know, you can still watch it on your TV, but have us there in the background kind of discussing it as well. It's always nice to have that, and hopefully it can win. It's going to be the game of one of the games. I think is going to be one of the game of the years. One of the games of the year. Sorry, if they play well, afternoon against the best team in the NHL. Absolutely, Jay. Stollers is no doubt their number one. No doubt in my mind. And I've been saying that since they signed him in the offseason, not to pump my own tires, but he's been good. He's been really good. And hopefully he can continue to rehab well and come back, because if he doesn't come back 4 to 6 weeks, I'm really hoping it's on the shorter side of that. So obviously 4 weeks, but I mean, as you continue to go, is your stream delayed? It'll be. We'll have the least amount of delay as possible, but it might be delayed a little bit. So if a goal happens, the chat will probably see it first, which is actually pretty hilarious. It'll be a really good time, Blake. It'll be a great time. It'll be a really good time. Shane, I hope you're able to tune in as well. Jam, everybody. Nick, Blake, Sam, Eric, Jose. All right, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, any final thoughts before we wrap up? Again, a pretty rough loss. I think Rempe's hit was probably worse. Any final thoughts? Yeah, bad game from Robo. Just move on to the next one for Robertson because he's been playing so well as of late. The whole team played bad, so I can't really pinpoint one guy. Blake, we will see you there. We'll see you there. I think Joseph Wall will probably start that one as well. Big game before Christmas break. Big stream. Last stream before Christmas break. Or, the NHL Christmas break. So, we don't take Christmas breaks over here. We'll have videos every single day. Love it. Super excited, guys. All right, any final thoughts? Late stream, Saturday night, a loss, but you guys made it a great one. So, I stand by it. Best community on YouTube. You guys always tune in, always show me. So Darius and I support Blake 279 Last Nation. Have a good night, Blake. Thank you so much. You guys are the best, and I'm excited. I'm excited for Monday, and hopefully we can. Yeah, I mean, Rempe's is worse for sure. Hopefully we can get things. I'm excited for it on Monday. I'll certainly be calling in. Shane, looking forward to it, bringing it back. Thanks for the stream. No worries, Jay. There's going to be losses like this throughout the season. It's about how they respond. And every single time this year they played bad, they've responded. And they've responded well. But thank you guys so much. We will catch you on Monday. But also, we'll have a video for you all tomorrow. And, of course, on Monday. So if you want the Daily Leaf content, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best. And we will see you all in tomorrow's video. Take it easy.
Digest your daily dose of gold. Stories of the bold where legends are told. From first pop drop to the season's full. Tune in and watch the drama unfold.